Yesterday, on the occasion of Christmas, Sayadaw explained on love, the loving kindness. The Christ loves beings, and also the followers of the Christ love Him. And Christ said, just as Christ loves the beings, one should love other beings. So it is the belief of Christians. And the essence of Christianity is love. And yesterday, Sayadaw explained on definition of Metta according to Buddhism. Among the worldly beings, love spreads all over. There is love, loving kindness, and there is also love which involves tanha, craving. And Sayadaw explained on genuine metta, genuine loving kindness. Genuine loving kindness is the wish for the benefit and welfare of others without involving in tanha, craving. Wanting others to be well, wanting others to be well, happy, well-to-do. One has good intention, and one also expresses metta in one's bodily action. And also when one talks sweet, tamed, cultured kind of speech, which involves metta, loving kindness. And yesterday, Sayadaw explained that based on one's honesty, without expecting personal gain or fame, one perform deeds in order to benefit others, and one talks in order to benefit others. So such kind of bodily behavior and mental behavior involves metta, loving kindness. Metta, loving kindness, is the forerunner of such bodily behavior and mental behavior. When one performs bodily behavior and mental behavior with metta, loving kindness, one is removing vira, internal enmity. Having metta, loving kindness, one overcomes akusala vira, unwholesomeness, enmity. On the other hand, vyabhada is ill will. Having vyabhada, one has a rotten mind. One feels envy, jealousy, seeing others prosper, seeing others well. And one does not want others to have good situation that one is having. In this way, one does not want others to be well or happy. In this way, there can be envy, jealousy. Rather than having metta, loving kindness, rather than rejoicing when one sees other people prosper, well and healthy, they become jealous, they become envious, and thus their mind becomes rotten. This is compared to a rotten fruit. When a fruit rots, it stinks. The smell is very bad, it stinks. In the same way, when one's mind rots with these defilements, envy, jealousy, lack of loving kindness, it is said that the mind is rotten. So one should have genuine loving kindness, and also one should express one's loving kindness in bodily behavior and verbal behavior. If one has genuine metta, loving kindness, true loving kindness, wanting the welfare and benefit of others, then one is free from hatred, dosa. The person who does not have hatred, dosa, works for the benefit and welfare of others. A person who has a very good habit of working for the benefit and welfare of others with metta, loving kindness, such kind of person, when she is dealing with family members, friends, or others, one does not bully others. One has patience, forgiveness, and even if the person is insulted, the person forgives others. But some of the people, when they are insulted, when they feel they are insulted, they do not forgive, and instead they tend to become very aggressive and they want to attack others. So rather than being aggressive, it is better to have patience, forgiveness, and to make sacrifices. When one has patience, forgiveness, others may see that the person is losing. But instead, having patience and forgiveness, one is having victory on oneself. One is having victory on akusala vera, unwholesomeness and miti. And one is also having victory on cruelty and hatred. The person who has victory on cruelty and hatred, one is willing to help others with material things, and having compassion towards others, one wants to remove the suffering of others. Having metta, loving kindness, one is free from hatred, dosa. Having compassion, karuna, one is removing cruelty, dosa. Having metta and karuna, removing hatred and cruelty, one can keep the precepts, one can practice the moral conduct based on metta and karuna. In this way, one can keep precepts, one has a very good control of oneself, and thus one will not be harming or hurting others. One refrains from killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, taking intoxicants, and thus his or her bodily behavior, verbal behavior will be pure, clean, and precious. When one controls one's mind, not to transgress, not even in the mind, having a good control of one's mind is calm, tranquil, and there will not be any wish to kill or to steal, to commit sexual misconduct, to lie, or to take intoxicants. So in this way, having a good control of one's mind, one will not wish to commit these wrongdoings such as killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, and so on. And also, having a good control of one's mind, one will not want to take intoxicants, which is the number one culprit of other unwholesomeness. So being free from such wrongdoing, one's physical and verbal behavior will be pure, clean, gentle, cultured, peaceful, and lovable. And in the mind, if one does not have any wish to transgress, the mind is also very satisfactory. And if the person gets to the stage where one never wants to kill, steal, sexual misconduct, lie, or take intoxicants, by removing, uprooting all the defilements, then the person becomes very pure. When one has uprooted the defilements by practicing, one gains Lokuttara Jnana, one gains supermundane knowledge. By becoming at least Sotapanna, a stream enterer, one will no longer kill at all, one will no longer steal, commit sexual misconduct, lie, or take intoxicants. In this way, by becoming a Sotapanna, stream enterer, one will never break the 5 precepts, and thus the person's life will be very peaceful and pure. So this is how, according to the teachings of the Buddha, one can step further and further, higher and higher, based on Metta and Karuna, loving kindness and compassion. So based on Metta and Karuna, loving kindness and compassion, one can take further steps to practice morality, concentration and wisdom until one finally totally uproots the defilement. As Sayadaw has not read Christianity, as Sayadaw has not read about Christianity in detail, Sayadaw does not know how the love in the Christianity can lead to higher stages. But what Sayadaw had heard about Christianity is that the Christ loves all beings, and Christ saves the beings who believe in Him. It is said that people who believe in the Christ will go to heaven, and also the offenses done by the follower can be pardoned, and God will take responsibility of these beings. So if that is so, if someone has done something wrong and if God will be responsible for it, then one will not take care not to commit wrongdoing. And also the person will think, I do the wrong thing and God will save me. Then the person will not try enough in order to gain the purity. So the person will not make effort to practice. In Buddhism, it is not so. Buddha can only guide the way. It is the being, it is the person who has to practice according to the teachings. And today Sayadaw will explain further what was not explained yesterday. And Sayadaw says because today is the Uposatha day with no interview, so Sayadaw intends to give half an hour more. And Sayadaw says if the yogis are willing to listen 1.5 hours, Sayadaw is willing to give more talk, 1.5 hours for today. So do the audience agree that Sayadaw gives 1.5 hour talk today?
So
Sayadaw said most of you are quiet, so Sayadaw take it that it is a yes. One should be selfless and it should be based on honesty. A person who is selfless and honest and has metta in the form of mental behavior, verbal behavior, and bodily behavior, who has metta in mind, metta generated in one's mind, speech and body, will seek for the welfare and benefit of others. And the person will support and help others. And when one sees others happy by getting what they need, one feels joy. In this way, one supports others with material things and also with their service to make others happy and well. When others are needy with material things or service, they will not be happy. So, due to the deficiency of material things or service, there can be suffering within these people. So by helping with material things and also with service, one is removing the suffering of others. One is helping in order to remove the deficiency of others. So in this way, helping others with material things and also with service, one is removing the deficiency of others and one is also removing the suffering of others. So it is very important to support and help others with material things and service without expecting personal gain or fame. Having good intention, may they be happy by getting what they need. May they be happy by getting the material things they need, the service they need. In this way, one supports the others, removing the suffering of others, removing the deficiency of others, and thus others will be happy and well. So this good intention is very good, very wise. Sayadaw does not know if Christ explained how one should love others and help others in detail, because Sayadaw had not read the Bible in detail. But what Sayadaw is explaining is what is explained in Buddhism. Buddha explained very much in detail. So what Sayadaw is explaining now is nothing compared to the explanation of the Buddha. Supporting, helping others with material things and service to the ones who are needy, these people will be happy to get what they need. So in this way, one removes the deficiency and the suffering of others by supporting, helping what they need. So in this way, when others get what they need, they feel happy and they are fulfilled of their wishes. Whether one supports others with material things or service, the others will receive what they need, so there will not be any deficiency, and thus they will be well and happy. So helping others in this way, one is making others feel happy and to be physically well as well. So in this way, one is helping others in order to remove the suffering of others, both physically and mentally. When one is performing dana, one offers things with metta, loving kindness, which also involves patience, forgiveness, giving away, making sacrifices, compassion. So when one performs dana offering systematically, metta, loving kindness, patience, forgiveness, compassion will become strong, and such kind of person will not be selfish. Such kind of person has a very good control of oneself, removing the internal enmity, and thus the person will not commit rude, gross behavior by body and speech to hurt or harm others. So in this way, just as one needs to support others with material things and service in order to make others happy and well, in the same way, it is very essential to protect others from being harmed, being hurt, both physically and mentally. Understanding this, the person who has metta and karuna will refrain oneself from wrongdoings, and the person will control one's behavior by body and speech. Doing dana systematically, one helps others with material things, and such kind of dana done with metta, karuna, patience, forgiveness, such kind of dana opens the path of moral conduct, and such kind of person easily refrains oneself from wrongdoing by body and speech, and thus the person becomes morally uplifted. The person becomes a true human, and at the same time, one protects others from being hurt. It is two at a blow. By having victory on the internal enmity, one has a good control of oneself, one does not commit wrongdoing, and thus one is not disturbing others. Others are protected from being harmed, and it will be very peaceful. So it is not easy to make the whole world peaceful, but by having victory on the internal enmity, there will be peace within oneself. And if the population of peaceful people who has victory on the internal enmity grow, then the surrounding will also become peaceful. So one has the duty to refrain oneself from wrongdoing by overcoming internal enmity, so that one also contributes peace to the surrounding. So what it means here is that it is not enough just to support others with material things or with service to make them happy. But it is very important not to make others suffer physically and mentally. Having true metta, loving kindness, one supports others with material things. Having karuna, compassion, one removes the suffering of others. It is good. But it is important to control oneself, not to commit wrongdoing, so that others will not suffer physically and mentally. People like to have happiness, they dislike suffering. People are afraid to be injured by weapons, arms and ammunition, and they are afraid to suffer physically and mentally. And they are afraid to lose their life. They are afraid to get injuries. They are afraid to die. Buddha said, Sabbe satta sukha kama dukkha patikula, meaning all beings love happiness, all beings dislike, hate suffering. And all the beings want to live long, they do not want to die. And they do not want to suffer. And they do not want to get injuries or illnesses. So in this way, all beings accept arahats and anagami and brave elephants and horses. Apart from them, everyone is afraid of death. So based on metta, loving kindness, one should work for the welfare of others, and one should be free from hatred, cruelty. One should have compassion, consideration towards others. Just as one wants to be happy, others are the same. They also want to be happy. Just as one dislikes suffering, others will also dislike suffering. Just as one is afraid of death, others also are afraid of death. In this way, one must have empathy, compassion towards others. Having empathy, compassion towards others, one does not want to hurt others. Even if there are circumstances that one kills others, but one should refrain from killing. Having empathy, consideration and compassion towards others. Refraining from killing others will be spared, and others will not get hurt. If one commits wrongdoing, one is hurting, harming others, others will be disturbed, and also the surrounding will get disturbed. Buddha said that sabbe dasanti dandasa sabbe bhayanti machuno attana upaman katva nahaneya nagataye. Meaning that everyone is afraid of injuries and everyone is afraid of death. That's why one should have empathy towards others. One should not kill others. One should not torment or torture others. Having empathy towards beings. One should refrain from things that should be refrained from, so that one is not harming others. Refraining from things that should be refrained from, one is not making others afraid. And also, one is said to be making others free from fear, free from internal enmity. So based on metta and karuna, loving kindness and compassion, one performs true dana, true offering, and also one develops patience, forgiveness, sacrifice, compassion. Supporting others with material things, one is making others happy. Refraining from things that should be refrained from, one is relieving others from suffering physically and mentally. Refraining from wrongdoing, one is not making others afraid. It is very important. Refraining oneself from wrongdoings, others will not be afraid of that person. So one is doing very important type of dana. It is called abhaya dana, offering fearlessness to others. When one refrains from stealing, killing, sexual misconduct, lying, taking intoxicants and so on, one is said to be doing abhayadana. One is offering fearlessness to others by refraining from wrong doings. So refraining oneself from misconduct, others will not be afraid of such person, and thus one is said to be offering fearlessness. Not harming, hurting others, there will not be internal enmity, it will be abhayadana, and also abhayadana, offering fearlessness, offering free from enmity. There are two types of dana. The first one is amisa dana, offering material things. The second one is abhayadana, offering fearlessness to others by refraining from wrongdoings. So one can think which of the two is better. Both of them are good, but one should think which of them is better and which one should one give priority. In order to perform abhayadana, offering fearlessness, one should do so based on honesty, based on true loving kindness in body, speech and mind, patience, forgiveness, sacrifice, compassion. When one is endowed with these qualities, one is said to be fulfilled with the basic Buddhist culture. Avira means free from enmity, free from unwholesomeness, enmity. Having metta and karuna, having loving kindness and compassion, one is free from dosa and vyabhada, free from aversion, ill will. Vyabhada is the mental state that destroys the mind. Vyabhada, having vyabhada, one has a rotten mind which can destroy. Having metta and karuna, one is free from vyabhada, ill will, rotten mind, and thus when dealing with others, one deals with metta and karuna, loving kindness, compassion towards others, so that others will be happy. Not hurting others, one is offering fearlessness, abhayadana. If one lacks metta and karuna, loving kindness and compassion, others will be afraid of that person. Being afraid of the person who lacks metta and karuna, others will suffer physically and mentally. Controlling oneself, refraining oneself from misconduct, others do not have to be afraid of that person, and thus the person is said to be offering fearlessness, and others will be happy, being free from fear. So the happiness one gets from getting what they need is not much, but getting happiness from fearlessness excels the happiness from getting material things. So that's why it is more important to do abhayadana. It is more important to give fearlessness to others. So the kind of happiness one gains from being fearless. It is better. People cherish the happiness. People value the happiness that is gained through fearlessness. So one has to think how one is doing abhayadana to others, and one should think whether we are doing abhayadana, offering fearlessness to others. Yogis who are here, they are not observing just the 5 precepts, but they are observing the 8 precepts. Observing the 8 precepts, the yogis are doing abhayadana, offering fearlessness to others in a more complete way than observing the 5 precepts. So abhayadana, offering fearlessness to others, is based on one's true metta and karuna, loving kindness and compassion in one's mental behavior as well as body and speech. Abhayadana, offering fearlessness, is also called mahadana, great dana, great supreme dana. It is defined as aganyani. It is the topmost kind of dana. There is no other dana that excels this abhayadana. Ratanyani means such kind of abhayadana existed from very long ago, from the era of previous Buddhas. So the abhayadana, the time or the period where the abhayadana originated, cannot be mentioned, as it is very it originated very, very long ago, even the previous time. And thus Vasanyani means such kind of abhayadana had been maintained generations by generations. So such kind of abhayadana is very old but very good, very old and very good, that had been maintained by generations and generations. And also, abhayadana is not mixed with unmeaningful dana which people do to pretend. So such kind of abhayadana is not mixed, had not been mixed with ordinary kind of unmeaningful dana. It is not mixing with ordinary unmeaningful dana, and it will not be mixed with ordinary unmeaningful dana, which means abhayadana is very pure. As abhayadana is very pure, it is not blamed by the wise, but the wise cherish and value the abhayadana. So there's only 5 minutes to 7:30. So Sayadaw would like to encourage all the yogis that at this period where the international year 2008 is coming to an end, may all the yogis be able to perform abhayadana, offering fearlessness by practicing sila, morality, and may the yogis be able to practice Satipatthana meditation that can develop both the mind and the knowledge. And by practicing Sila, Samadhi, Panya, modesty, concentration and wisdom, may you all reach the stage where one is totally pure of observing the 5 precepts, where one reaches the stage where one will never ever break the 5 precepts. May you all be able to give Abhayadana, offering fearlessness, fully, completely, and may you all be able to practice the path that leads to the cessation of all suffering. So may you all be able to farewell the old year 2008 and welcome the new year 2009 happily by practicing Sila, Samadhi, Panya, morality, concentration and wisdom. Sadhu, sadhu.